When it comes to reliability, the full-size Land Rover Range Rover is one of the worst vehicles.
Some cars aren't just unreliable. They're financial traps hiding in plain sight. They look modern, powerful, and feature-packed. But under the surface, they're loaded with weak engines, failing transmissions, and repair bills that hit harder than a car payment. And the worst part? Many owners don't realize what's coming until it's too late. Today, we're breaking down the 7 cars that are draining wallets across the country, and why choosing the right alternative can save thousands. Number 7. BMW X5 N63 V8 models. The BMW X5 with the N63 twin-turbo V8 is one of the most attractive SUVs on the market. Powerful, luxurious, and loaded with tech. But behind that impressive styling is one of the most expensive engines to own once the miles start climbing. These engines are notorious for oil consumption, failing injectors, stretched timing chains, and turbo issues that show up far earlier than owners expect. Mechanics often warn that even well-maintained versions can suddenly develop multi-thousand-dollar failures without much warning. Part of the problem is the heat generated by the twin-turbo setup, which sits inside the Hot V configuration. This design delivers great performance, but it bakes components over time. Wiring, PCV systems, valve seals, and gaskets all begin to degrade faster than normal. Owners frequently report adding a quart of oil every 500 to 800 miles. And that's considered normal for these engines. When it gets worse, repairs escalate fast, especially when the timing chain stretches, which often requires removing the entire engine. These issues aren't limited to hard-driven models or high-mileage examples. Many failures occur between 60,000 and 90,000 miles, long before drivers expect major engine work. And because this is a premium luxury SUV, parts and labor costs are extremely high. A simple injector replacement can cost as much as an entire used engine on a non-luxury vehicle. Even routine maintenance like spark plugs, coils, and gaskets carries a premium price tag. Most owners are shocked when they see the bill for an oil leak repair. A job so common on these engines that some mechanics say they do it weekly. Valve seal replacements can easily cross $7,000 to $10,000. Timing chain work? Often $12,000 or more. Add turbo replacements on top of that, and this SUV can bankrupt someone trying to keep it running long-term. It's one of the most beautiful vehicles on the road, but financially, it demands a level of commitment most people never expect. A far safer alternative is the Lexus RX or Acura MDX. They still offer luxury, comfort, strong performance, and modern tech, without the surprise repair bills that come with German turbo V8s. These options can easily go 200,000 miles with normal maintenance, making them a better choice for anyone who wants peace of mind instead of financial headaches. Number 6. Jeep Grand Cherokee, 2014 to 2019. The Jeep Grand Cherokee is one of the most popular SUVs in America, but the 2014 to 2019 models came with a long list of problems that turned ownership into an expensive gamble. On paper, this SUV looks perfect. Strong engines, upscale interiors, good towing numbers, and a reputation for toughness. But once the miles start piling up, the repair issues begin to surface, and many of them hit hard, especially for owners expecting long-term durability. The biggest problem with these years is the electronics. The Uconnect infotainment screens are notorious for bubbling, freezing, or completely dying. Replacement screens are expensive, and some owners report going through more than one. Transmission issues are also extremely common, especially with the 8-speed automatic that can develop jerking, hard shifting, or total failure. When that happens, repair shops often recommend full replacements, which cost thousands of dollars and require specialized work. Then there's the suspension. Ball joints, control arms, bushings, and air suspension components wear out far earlier than expected. Air suspension models are particularly problematic, with compressors failing and struts leaking, leading to sagging, uneven ride height, and repair bills that can easily exceed $2,000 per corner. And unlike simpler mechanical systems, air suspension repairs often require both new parts and programming, which adds to the total cost. The 3.6-liter Pentastar 5.6 is generally reliable, but even it has issues in these years, especially with cylinder head failures and misfires. The V8 options, including the 5.7-liter Hemi, sound great but bring their own headaches, including lifter and camshaft failures that have become increasingly common. Repairing those failures requires tearing deep into the engine, and costs can climb past $4,000 to $7,000 depending on damage. Owners also report electrical gremlins, random warning lights, dead batteries, door lock failures, faulty sensors, and stalling issues that sometimes require reprogramming modules or replacing them entirely. These are not minor repairs, and they add up quickly. When you combine the expensive electronics, fragile transmission behavior, and costly suspension problems, the long-term cost of owning this SUV can be much higher than people expect. If someone wants a mid-size SUV that looks nice but won't drain their bank account, the Toyota Highlander and Honda Pilot are far better long-term options. They offer smoother ownership, fewer surprise repairs, and significantly lower maintenance costs over 10 to 15 years. The Grand Cherokee delivers style and comfort, but financially, it's a risky bet once the warranty disappears. Number 5. Ford Explorer 3.5-liter EcoBoost. The Ford Explorer is one of the best-selling family SUVs in America, but the 3.5-liter EcoBoost models, especially from the early and mid-2010s, have caused enormous financial pain for owners as they age. The big issue is simple. This engine is powerful, but it runs hot, has complex twin-turbo plumbing, and relies heavily on components that wear out far earlier than buyers expect. When it begins to fail, the repair bills don't just hurt, they shock people. The most severe problem is internal engine failure caused by timing chain stretching, water pump leaks, and cam phaser issues. Unlike many vehicles where the water pump sits outside the engine, the 3.5-liter EcoBoost places the pump inside the timing cover. When it fails, coolant leaks directly into the engine oil. By the time owners see symptoms, overheating, misfires, rough idle, the damage is already done. Many engines seize completely, requiring a full replacement. This failure alone can cost between $6,000 and $10,000, depending on the shop and damage. And even if the engine doesn't fully fail, repairing the water pump requires hours of labor, making it one of the most expensive, routine failures you can experience in a family SUV. Timing chain problems are just as bad. Rattling on startup, loss of power, and eventual failure if ignored. Shops often warn that once these issues appear, it's not a matter of if the engine will need major work, it's when. But the trouble doesn't end there. The 3.5-liter EcoBoost is known for turbo problems, carbon buildup, PCV system failures, and ignition coil misfires. These issues don't always destroy the engine, but they create a constant stream of repairs that add up fast. Many owners report spending thousands over just a few years trying to keep the SUV running smoothly, especially once it crosses 80,000 miles. The complexity of the engine means even small repairs take longer, and labor costs rise accordingly. The transmission in certain Explorer years also contributes to the financial burden. Harsh shifting, slipping, and torque converter failures can appear early, and full rebuilds run into the thousands. Combine a fragile engine with a questionable transmission, and you have one of the most expensive used SUVs to maintain long-term, despite its popularity. If someone wants a reliable three-row SUV with similar power and comfort, but without the expensive surprises, the Toyota Highlander 5.6 or Honda Pilot 5.6 are far safer choices. They trade a bit of turbocharged performance for engines that last well over 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. Over a decade of ownership, the savings can be dramatic. Number 4. Audi Q7. Older 3.0T and 4.2 models. The Audi Q7 is a stunning luxury SUV with a smooth ride, a refined cabin, and strong engines. But once it ages, the repair bills become shockingly high. The older 3.0T and 4.2 models, in particular, are notorious for mechanical failures that show up around 80,000 to 120,000 miles. Right when many owners expect a vehicle to still feel solid, instead, these Q7s develop expensive issues with timing chains, cooling systems, electronics, and suspension components that turn ownership into a financial burden. One of the biggest problems is the timing chain system. Unlike many SUVs with timing belts or simple chain layouts, the Q7's chains are mounted on the back of the engine, against the firewall. When they stretch, and they often do, it requires removing the entire drivetrain just to access them. The job is so labor-intensive that many shops quote between $6,000 and $9,000, sometimes more, depending on damage to tensioners and guides. This alone makes the Q7 one of the riskiest used luxury SUVs to maintain. The cooling system is another trouble spot. Water pumps, thermostats, crossover pipes, and plastic fittings crack with age and heat. When coolant leaks begin, they can spread through the engine bay, causing overheating and sometimes secondary failures. Repairs are rarely simple because the Audi's engine bay is tightly packed, and accessing even a basic part requires removing several components first. A water pump job that costs $700 to $900 on a mainstream SUV can easily cross $1,800 to $2,500 here. Suspension issues are also common. The air suspension system, if equipped, becomes a major financial liability. Compressors can burn out, air struts can leak, and height sensors fail regularly. When the system starts acting up, the SUV may sag overnight, sit unevenly, or throw warning lights that disable certain drive modes. Replacing a single air strut can cost over $1,500, and if more components fail at once, the repair bill can climb past $4,000. Electrical problems further add to the ownership cost. The Q7's complex network of sensors, modules, and control units is impressive when new, but becomes fragile with age. Owners report issues with parking sensors, backup cameras, tailgate motors, MMI screens, and random warning lights. Even diagnosing these problems can cost hundreds of dollars before repairs even begin. Once repairs start, the bills rise quickly due to expensive OEM parts. Fuel economy is another hidden cost many owners underestimate. The older V6 and V8 engines are thirsty, and premium fuel is required. Combined with frequent maintenance needs and the likelihood of major repairs, the cost of ownership skyrockets beyond what most people anticipate for a family SUV. If you want a 3-row luxury SUV that won't empty your wallet, the Lexus GX or Acura MDX offer far better long-term reliability. They still deliver comfort and refinement, but with fewer complicated systems and far lower repair costs over a decade of ownership. The Q7 may be tempting for its style, but financially, it is one of the riskiest luxury SUVs on the used market. Number 3. Chrysler 200. The Chrysler 200 is one of those cars that looks appealing at first glance. Sleek exterior styling, a modern interior, and a low price that tempts many used car buyers. But once you dig into real-world ownership, this sedan becomes one of the most financially draining vehicles in its class. The biggest problem with the Chrysler 200 is simple. It was built on an awkward platform paired with problematic transmissions and engineered with several design compromises that show up as costly repairs later on. The most notorious issue is the 9-speed automatic transmission. On paper, it promised great fuel economy and smooth shifting. In reality, it became one of the most complained about transmissions of the decade. Owners report harsh shifts, jerking, delayed engagement, sudden neutral drops, and complete failures. Some units were replaced under warranty, but once the vehicle ages, the cost falls entirely on the owner. A replacement transmission can easily exceed $4,000 to $6,000, often more than the car's market value. Another major problem is that the Chrysler 200 has a cramped engine bay. Mechanics frequently mention that basic components, alternators, thermostats, water pumps, and even spark plugs, are difficult to access. This drives up labor costs significantly. Jobs that take 1 hour on other sedans can take 3 or 4 hours on the 200. Over several years, this leads to repair bills far above what you'd expect for a budget-friendly car. Engine reliability is also hit or miss. The 2.4-liter Tiger Shark engine is known for excessive oil consumption. Some owners report adding a quart every 1,000 miles or less, and when these engines are run low on oil, they can suffer major internal damage. The 3.6-liter V6 is more powerful, but adds complexity and raises repair costs. Combined with the problematic 9-speed transmission, it creates a sedan that struggles to deliver long-term value. Electrical issues are another financial headache. Owners often report problems with the push-button start, stalling at low speeds, failing sensors, and random warning lights. These issues can require new control modules or reprogramming, both of which inflate maintenance expenses. Even suspension components, struts, bushings, and control arms wear out earlier than expected, adding more costs. The Chrysler 200 was discontinued after 2017, which means parts availability will slowly become more difficult and potentially more expensive as the years go on. This also affects resale value. The car depreciates faster than most competitors, and long-term owners often receive far less than expected when selling or trading it in. For buyers who want a reliable mid-size sedan without the financial stress, the Toyota Camry, Honda Accord, or Mazda 6 offer dramatically better long-term durability. These cars require fewer surprise repairs, hold their value well, and can easily last 200,000 miles or more with routine maintenance, The Chrysler 200 may look like a deal, but over time, it becomes one of the most expensive sedans to keep on the road. Number 2. Range Rover Sport, 2010s models. Few SUVs turn heads like a Range Rover Sport. It looks powerful, upscale, and incredibly capable. And when new, it delivers exactly that experience. But once these vehicles age out of warranty, the financial reality hits hard. The 2010s models, in particular, are known for severe reliability issues that appear between 60,000 and 120,000 miles. What makes the Range Rover Sport so financially devastating is not just the number of things that can fail, but how expensive every single repair is. The air suspension system is one of the most problematic components. It provides a comfortable ride and adjustable height, but the air struts, compressors, and valves are extremely failure-prone. When a strut leaks, the SUV may sink overnight or lean to one side. Replacing a single air strut can cost well over $1,500 to $2,000, and a full suspension overhaul can exceed $5,000. Compressors also burn out, adding more costs. These failures are not rare, they're expected. Then there's the electrical system. The Range Rover Sport has a massive network of modules that control everything from the terrain system to the adaptive headlights. As the vehicle ages, these systems begin to glitch. Warning lights appear randomly, backup cameras fail, door locks stop working, and infotainment units freeze. Troubleshooting these issues requires specialized diagnostics, and replacement modules are extremely expensive. Some owners report spending thousands on electrical repairs in just a single year. Engine and transmission issues add to the financial burden. The supercharged V6 and V8 engines are powerful, but they're also known for timing chain problems, coolant leaks, water pump failures, and high oil consumption. Turbocharger issues can appear on certain diesel and gas models, and repairing or replacing turbos pushes costs into the thousands. The transmission in some years is known for harsh shifting and occasional failures, another multi-thousand-dollar repair. Cooling system weaknesses are another major headache. The plastic cooling components crack over time, which can lead to overheating. Overheating a Range Rover engine often results in catastrophic damage, requiring a rebuild or full replacement. Both options are extremely costly. Even routine maintenance, such as brakes or control arm replacements, costs significantly more than mainstream SUVs because of the vehicle's weight and premium parts. Fuel economy is yet another hidden cost. Many models require premium fuel, and the heavy construction means they burn through gas quickly. Add high insurance rates, luxury taxes in some states, and rapid depreciation, and the total cost of ownership becomes overwhelming. For anyone wanting luxury and capability without the financial nightmare, the Lexus GX, Lexus LX, or Toyota 4Runner are much safer long-term choices. They deliver real durability, strong resale value, and far fewer costly surprises. The Range Rover Sport may be a status symbol, but owning one long-term is a financial gamble most people regret. Number 1. Nissan Rogue CVT years. The Nissan Rogue is one of the best-selling crossovers in America, and that's exactly why so many drivers have been blindsided by its long-term costs. On the surface, the Rogue seems perfect. Affordable, fuel-efficient, comfortable, and practical. But the CVT-equipped models, especially from the late 2000s through the mid-2000s, have become infamous for transmission failures that show up far earlier than owners expect. These failures aren't just inconvenient, they're financially devastating. The core issue is the Jatco continuously variable transmission. While CVTs are supposed to improve fuel economy, the early generation units used in the Rogue struggle with heat, internal belt wear, and poor fluid circulation. Owners report symptoms like shuddering during acceleration, whining noises, jerky movement at low speeds, and complete loss of power, sometimes on the highway with no warning. Once these signs appear, the transmission is already on its way out. Repairing or replacing a CVT is extremely expensive. Unlike traditional automatics, most shops won't rebuild them, which means owners are often pushed toward full replacements. Costs commonly range from $3,500 to $5,500, and in some cases, more. Worse, many Rogues need multiple replacements over their lifetime. Some owners report failures before 70,000 miles, and again after the replacement unit racks up mileage. When this happens outside warranty coverage, the financial hit is significant. The problems aren't limited to the transmission. Many Rogue owners experience issues with the air conditioning system, wheel bearings, sensors, and electrical components. While these aren't catastrophic failures on their own, they add up quickly and raise the total cost of ownership. The Rogue was designed to be a budget-friendly crossover, but the high repair frequency means many owners end up spending far more than expected over a decade of ownership. Another hidden cost is depreciation. Because the Rogue has a reputation for CVT issues, used values have dropped noticeably in many areas. This creates a situation where owners spend thousands to keep the car running, but still receive low offers when they try to sell or trade it in. That's one of the clearest signs that a model has long-term financial risks baked in. The Rogue's engine, a 2.5-liter four-cylinder, is reliable on its own, but the CVT paired to it undermines the entire ownership experience. Even when maintained properly with fluid changes, the transmission remains a weak link. And because it's such a critical component, a single failure can convert a low-cost vehicle into a financial burden instantly. The best alternatives are models like the Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, and Mazda CX-5, all of which offer better reliability, lower long-term costs, and more predictable performance. These SUVs use proven automatic transmissions and are known for lasting well over 200,000 miles with normal maintenance. Compared to the Rogue, they offer far safer long-term ownership. When it comes to owning a car long-term, the real cost isn't the price on the window sticker. It's the repairs, the maintenance, and the unexpected failures that hit when you least expect them. The vehicles in this list may look stylish, powerful, or affordable, but the reality behind the scenes tells a completely different story. Engines that fail early, transmissions that self-destruct, electrical systems that never stop causing problems. These issues add up quickly, and over several years, they can drain thousands of dollars from any household. Choosing the right car isn't just about comfort or features. It's about long-term durability, predictable repair costs, and systems designed to last, not fail. By avoiding the models in this video, drivers can save themselves from years of stress, frustration, and financial loss. And the good news? There are plenty of safer, smarter alternatives on the market that deliver strong reliability without crushing repair bills. Every vehicle will need maintenance eventually, but the difference between a smart buy and a money pit is massive. So before buying your next car, or keeping your current one long-term, research, Reliability data and real-world mechanic reports matter more than anything else. Protect your wallet, choose wisely, and enjoy a safer, more predictable ownership experience. If you've ever owned one of these cars or dealt with a similar financial surprise, share your story in the comments. Your experience might save someone else from making the same expensive mistake.